Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, depending on what time you're watching this video. I am student meteorologist Liam Kenny, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you everything that you need to know in our area pertaining to the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, which, let's be real, could be one of the most active hurricane seasons we have seen in a very long time. I've heard some talks about it being related to the 2004 season or the 2005 season. I'm not one to say that it could be, but knowing how favorable the atmosphere will likely be as we head over the next several months, it is definitely a possibility. I can't say that for sure, but knowing how favorable the atmosphere will likely be, it is definitely a possibility. First off, a huge thank you and shout out to my amazing tropical sponsors who are Honest Roofers. It is a great roofing company that is owned by Lori and Jeremy Coleman. You can visit their website for all your roofing needs at honestroofersmb.com. Their phone number is 843-455-9044. Their email address is honestroofers@gmail.com. They are located at the P.O. Box 3005 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and they are open Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the afternoon, as well as for your Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, before I take a look at what's going to be happening this hurricane season, I want to go back to last year's hurricane season because we were originally forecasting a very below average hurricane season because of something that is called El Nino, which usually is very, very unfavorable for tropical conditions. However, if you can all remember how warm our waters were in either the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean Sea, or the Atlantic Ocean, this acted as a powerhouse for the active hurricane season last year to become one of the most active hurricane seasons we have seen in a very long time. Remember, we were originally forecasting the 2023 Atlantic hurricane season that is to be very below normal, but thanks to the very warm waters acting as the main fuel source for a lot of very strong tropical systems to form, it was a very active hurricane season. In short terms, El Nino is a climate pattern that describes the water temperatures here in the Eastern Pacific Ocean being well above normal, allowing for a lot of evaporation to be taking place. That evaporation eventually leads to showers and thunderstorms. Those thunderstorms create something that we know as wind shear, which is a change in wind direction or speed as you go to a different level of the atmosphere. And whenever you insert wind shear into a hurricane, it can throw it all off of its balance and make it become very discombobulated and non-healthy. So that's why wind shear is the main key factor that allows a hurricane to die out or lose its strength. And whenever we're in this hurricane pattern or whenever we're in this climate pattern, knowing how unfavorable the conditions are here in the Atlantic Ocean, we usually forecast a very below average hurricane season, which was originally forecasted last year. But once again, because of how warm the waters are, it was as active as it was. Now let's switch in. Let's transition or fast forward into 2024, the year that we're currently in. We have already made a very big transition from El Nino into La Nina. The water temperatures are already much cooler here in the Eastern Pacific Ocean, and what this has led to is very little to no wind shear, leading to very favorable conditions across the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean Sea, and as well as the Atlantic Ocean. And you can clearly see a clear La Nina pattern right here. This is how warm how above or below normal the waters are currently across North America, and you can clearly see, look at how cool or below normal the water temperatures currently are in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. This is classic La Nina. On top of this, the waters are extremely favorable or warm and above average across all parts of the MDR, the MDR or the main development region. This is basically the area that is north of South America to the west of Africa. The reason why we call this the main development region is because this is where usually we see a lot of the beginnings or starts of all hurricanes, tropical storms, and even depressions that form across our ocean. So that's why it's called the main development region. But just bottom line here, it is clear to say that we are seeing a very active La Nina climate pattern going on as we head into the very active 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. So here are the numbers that everybody wants to know. Usually on a typical average hurricane season, we see 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes, those being category 3 or higher. Let's fast forward and take a look at what is forecasted this year. From the Colorado State University, 23 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. That is extremely active. And then here's another forecast model. This is coming from the Weather Channel. 25 named storms, 12 hurricanes, and 6 major hurricanes. As you can tell, that is practically double of what we typically see in an average hurricane season. Like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Just knowing how favorable the atmosphere will be as we head over the next several months, it is very likely we could be seeing one of the most active hurricane seasons we have seen in a very long time. Now, the Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st all the way to November 30th, with the peak of the hurricane season occurring on September 10th. But we could see activity as early as May. Let's go back to 1944 to 2020. We saw some named storms form in May. So while the official start of the hurricane season may not start until the first day of June, it is not uncalled for, or it is not unheard of to see the origins or the beginnings of a hurricane season start well before the start of the actual hurricane season. And then, of course, we start to see that uptick happen as we go through June and July. We really start to see a big uptick in activity as we head into August and then September. Of course, once again, the peak of the hurricane season occurs on September 10th, and then gradually still seeing a very active hurricane season as we head throughout the rest of September into October and even into November as well. Once again, the Atlantic hurricane season officially ends on November 30th. So just keep all of this time frame in your mind as we head over the next several months. Now, here's a look at how we categorize or we rate all sorts of tropical depressions, tropical storms, and even hurricanes in the Atlantic. A tropical storm starts when winds reach 39 miles per hour. Whenever you're looking at these things on TV, they'll always start at 40 miles per hour because we go by increments of 5 here in the broadcast meteorology industry. But just know that the official start of a tropical storm starts when winds reach 39 miles per hour. A Category 1 hurricane starts at 74 miles per hour, of course 75 when you're looking at it on TV. Category 2 starts at 96 and goes to 110 with extensive damage. Category 3, or a major hurricane, which we could likely see a lot of those as we head over the next several months with devastating damage, starts when winds reach around 111 miles per hour. Cat 4 is 130 to 156, and the incredible monster Cat 5 hurricane starts when winds reach at least 157 miles per hour or higher. And let's just say I would not be surprised if we see at least 2, if maybe like 3 of those Category 5s as we head over the next several months. Just once again, considering how active our atmosphere is going to be as we head over the next several months. And here's the list of names that we will be using to name all of the tropical storms, depressions, and hurricanes we see in the Atlantic Basin over the next several months. We have Alberto, Beryl, Chris, Debbie, Ernesto, Francine, Gordon, Helene, Isaac, Joyce, and Kirk. Onto the right side of your screen, we have Leslie, Milton, Nadine, Oscar, Patty, Raphael, Sarah, Tony, Valerie, and William. And God forbid we run out of names on this list, we have a secondary list that we will use to name all the tropical storms and hurricanes that form in our area. Of course, once we get to that point, if it's necessary, I will post it on my page, but just know this is the list of names that we will be using to name all the tropical systems that form in the Atlantic Ocean over the next several months. Alright, that's about everything I have for you all. Please be sure that you are staying weather aware as we head over the next several months. It is very, very important to have a reliable and a trustworthy source of weather, whether that be myself, whether that be your local news or weather station, whether that be the Weather Channel, the National Hurricane Center, whatever it may be. Just make sure that you have a way to get warnings, get advisories, get forecasts, and make sure that you stay aware and safe as we head into the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season.